After a day on the town with Lilly, we return to our dorm room, and the next day we get up. Here it follows along the events in Hanako Path number 2, where we get up, we get ready for the festival, we go in the hallway, we knock on the Kenji's door to see what he's up to. He talks about how it's a great big feminist conspiracy and that he's going to be hiding in his room. Why don't we come in and join him as he builds his fort? We refuse, and he implores for us to please don't go to the festival as he runs back into his room and hides. So we, of course, ignore his advice and go on out to see what's happening with all the students and all the stalls. The story continues just like in the Hanako number 2, where we find Lilly in them stall. We find her busily working away. A large part of her order is mixed. They're trying to find more students because most of her class isn't there to run the stall, and she's concerned about where Hanako is. As a line begins to form behind us, we buy a bowl of soup from her. We go and we sit and we drink our bowl of soup, promising to bring it back, and then doing a little people watching before we finish up and figure out what we're going to do for the rest of the festival. And that's where the path now takes a turn and continues along the Lilly path. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they work, Lilly still appears to be somewhat stressed. Right. I know what I'll do. Even if it's just one person, I'll make the festival more enjoyable for her. As I place the bowl on the counter, I call out to Lilly. "Ah, Hisao. You brought it back." "Yeah, here." I slide it into her hands, and she takes it over to someone who is apparently on cleaning duty. Considering that I didn't see them here before, it's probably a penalty for their tardiness. "Hey, Lilly," I say. She perks up and returns to the counter as she hears my voice again, realizing that I'm still here. "Want to go see some more of the festival?" I ask. She puffs her cheeks disapprovingly. It looks kind of cute and in complete contradiction to her usually reserved nature. It takes a few seconds for me to get what she's taking issue with. Whoops. I didn't mean to... Lily giggles at me, exposing her teasing for what it is. "You're still not used to the school, are you?" She got me. "Still, I kind of need to stay with our stall. It's taken until just now to even get everything unpacked." I guess her reluctance shouldn't overly surprise me, considering how much work she's put into this. "Everything seems to be running fine now, though," I tell her. "Besides, you've got extra help on hand anyway." A boy in the middle of cooking some soba noodles turns toward us grinning. "Go on, Lils, you've earned yourself a break," he says. "We can hold down the fort, for now." "If you say it's okay, then I suppose so. But if you need any help, then we'll call you," he says. "Go on, we'll be fine." Lilly finally gives up her resistance as he waves a spatula at her. She feels her way around the back of the stall and picks up her cane on the way. I guess the first thing we should do is look for Hanako. Lilly seems kind of worried about her, and I doubt she'd be the kind of person to enjoy milling about in crowds like this all alone. So, I guess we should search for Hanako. Where to first, I say. The both of us go quiet for a moment to think. Maybe she's in her dorm room, I ask. I doubt it, Lily says. She doesn't keep too many things in there, so she'd have nothing to do. Ah, the library, she says. As good a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. The library it is, I say. We'll check there first, then. Aside from the muffled sounds of the crowd seeping in from outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all the events were organized to be held outside on school grounds. They're definitely quite large by any other school's standards. It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it? Lily asks. Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. We take our time and slowly walk through the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. I can't help but notice how Lily anticipates every door and obstacle, her cane remaining still and her hand skirting along the hallway railings. You really know the school well, don't you? I ask. She smiles and nods straight ahead. I've been here for a few years now, so I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up, though, sometimes. I haven't been there as long, and they're not as well laid out as the main building. If I'm remembering right, they used to be unused buildings before being renovated and used as dormitories. That explains why the male and female dorms look different from the outside and why their rooms seem kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. I'd assumed she'd been living in the dormitories since she began attending the school, but now I'm reminded of what she said yesterday. That's right, I say. You mentioned that before. I'd assumed that most of the students here lived in the dormitories once they enrolled. A lot of them seemed to, at any case. Lily's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my questioning evidently touching upon a delicate point. Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons, she concludes. Something tells me that one of those with reasons is Hanako, hence her tiptoeing around the answer. My own predicament is yet another such case. I guess it's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or, in my instance, have made for them. It can't be helped, I suppose. At least Yamaku itself seems like a nice place. It's good to hear you say that, she replies. I thought you were coming to dislike it. What about you, though, I ask. My reversal of Lily's statement takes her by surprise. I've been here for a while, so... It's not that, I interrupt. You just seem pretty depressed about Akira. What's with that look? Akira's taken, Lily says. Sorry, Hisao. Lily never sees how fast my palm meets my face at her sly accusation. Hey, I was worried about you, I say. That's no way to respond to concern. While she gives an amused grin, we round the corner of the hallway and enter the library. As we do so, it isn't hard to spot Hanako, considering that the room is completely devoid of anyone else. Given that there are no staff around, I guess there's no need to heed the usual library rules. I call out to her. Hey, Hanako! Hanako is here. As she hears our voices, Hanako's head flicks up from behind a book, probably the same one she'd been reading on Friday. Hisao? Lily? She says. Just thought we'd drop by. Lily just managed to escape from the noodle stall with a little help. That wasn't really an escape, she says. Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us. I just thought that Lilly might not be enjoying the festival, she says. Well, now we can all enjoy it together, right? The two nod happily before we set out of the library and toward the festivities. I hand over some change to the girl behind the counter and take the 2 styrofoam cups of tea. I try to accentuate my bow a bit to cover for the fact that she's quite obviously deaf. Come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those 2 in the gardens while I bought drinks. Trying to juggle the 2 cups of hot tea for them and a can of coffee for myself out of a vending machine isn't exactly easy. With some careful maneuvering, though, I manage to keep everything stable and upright as I walk over to the bench where Lilly and Hanako are sitting and chatting. It's actually quite a nice place. Lit only by moonlight, it's tucked away some distance from the main events. Compared to how hot it had been during the day, this spot is also pleasantly cool by now. Not that it matters all that much. Most of the visitors have moved to areas that are either closer to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Hisao. Her ears are good. I'm not exactly close, and even Hanako hadn't noticed me. Here you go, I say. Sorry it's instant, but that's all they had left by now. Hanako gingerly takes a cup from my right hand, and I gently place the other into Lily's outstretched hands. Did you enjoy the festival then, Hisao? Yeah, it was pretty fun. An honest answer. Much of the food may have been somewhat subpar, but it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lilly. In fact, I think those 2 may have enjoyed themselves even more than I did. With both Lilly and me around, much of Hanako's withdrawn nature around others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. As we sit drinking, the whistle of the first firework rings out before it explodes into a vibrant shower of blue against the night sky, heralding the beginning of the end for the festival. Enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowd scattered around the school grounds celebrating them. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watch the fireworks overhead as Lilly blissfully listens to them with her eyes shut. Red, green, yellow, star-shaped, circular, and patterned, and all manner of shapes and colors fill this air, one after the other, and dance across the sky. No place near where I live put on such a lavish displays. Festivals like this were a thing of the past in such a metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these 2, it's probably the happiest I've been in a long while. So, that's it, Lilly says. The festival's finally ending. Yeah. She gives a delicate, wistful sigh. As much as I might complain about all the stuff we have to do, she says, it's still sad that we'll have graduated before the next Yamaku festival. I'll walk forwards and stand beside Lilly, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, I say. We still have Tanabata later in the year, right? You're right, she says. It would be nice to go there when it comes. Minutes of silence pass, with only the blast of the fireworks to be heard. Seeing these 2 reminds me of the words of advice Lilly had given me when we walked into town together. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends, huh? Hey, Lilly, I ask. She turns her head slightly to show that she's listening, Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the Technicolor fireworks bursting overhead. You mind if I join you 2 for tea every now and again? The smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. It would be a pleasure, Hisao. So now we get to enjoy the festival for the third time with the third girl in our group of five friends. Interestingly enough, after we get Lily away from her stall, we go and find Hanako, and this time, instead of staying in the library with her for a bit and then going down to the Shanghai to stay away from the crowds and all, she's actually able to get out and tolerate the festival with us, being in our company, and we actually go around and enjoy the stalls and all, and then go to one of the more park-like areas of the grounds to watch the fireworks when they come around. And this time, even Lily seems to enjoy the fireworks. It said she sits there with her eyes shut, blissfully listening to the pops and explosions, rather than the previous time where she just sat in the Shanghai, sipping her tea and seeming to either not care or to be bothered by the loud bangs and all. Wonder if this time maybe perhaps it has something to do with the company she's with, perhaps, after we saw her, the way she's behaved around us and her teasing manner when she talks about Akira being taken. So we are about to begin Act 2, and we shall see where this relationship goes now that the festival has passed.